Have you ever wondered if someone you know could be a psychopath? It's a chilling thought, isn't it? Psychopathy, a personality disorder characterized by persistent antisocial behavior, impaired empathy, and bold, disinhibited, and egotistical traits, is more common than you might think. Today we're delving into this complex condition to bring you the 7 key signs that might suggest someone is a psychopath. So buckle up and prepare to be enlightened. Stay tuned to unlock the 7 signs of a psychopath. Sign 1. Superficial charm. Psychopaths are often charismatic and charming. You see, the charm of a psychopath is not your ordinary charm. It's a calculated, purposeful allure that's designed to disarm and captivate those around them. They can be incredibly engaging, their conversations sparkling with wit and intelligence, making them seemingly irresistible. And while this charm might seem genuine, it's often a means to an end. Psychopaths use their charm manipulatively to achieve their goals, to gain trust, or to manipulate situations to their advantage. It's like a well-rehearsed act, a performance perfectly tailored to each interaction, each individual they encounter. This superficial charm is not rooted in genuine warmth or empathy. It's essentially a tool, a weapon even, that the psychopath uses to navigate and control their social and interpersonal relationships. So, beware of the superficial charm, it might be hiding something sinister. Moving on to sign 2, lack of empathy. Now, empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's a fundamental human trait that forms the basis of our social interactions and relationships. But when we talk about psychopaths, we're dealing with individuals who significantly lack this important trait. They often view others not as fellow human beings with feelings and emotions, but as objects to manipulate for their own gain. This lack of empathy is not just about failing to understand someone else's perspective, but it's also about a complete disregard for the feelings of others. Imagine a person who can witness pain, suffering, even joy, and remain entirely unaffected. This is the chilling reality of a psychopath's world. Their inability to empathize allows them to harm others without feeling any remorse or guilt. In essence, it's this cold indifference, this inability to connect with others on an emotional level, that distinguishes psychopaths from the rest of us. This lack of empathy is a clear sign of psychopathy. Sign 3. Pathological lying. Now, we all tell a little white lie every now and then, but when it comes to psychopaths, lying is second nature to them. They're infamous for their ability to spin complex webs of deceit with an ease that is as unnerving as it is astounding. Their lies aren't always about big things either. They can just as easily lie about what they had for breakfast as they can about their entire past. But why do they do this? Well, one reason could be their lack of guilt. They feel no remorse for their dishonesty, which allows them to lie without batting an eyelid. This also means that they can maintain their stories over long periods of time, making it difficult for those around them to separate fact from fiction. So, if you notice someone in your life who seems to be constantly feeding you a stream of lies, no matter how big or small, be aware. A constant stream of lies can be a red flag for psychopathy. Sign 4. Manipulative behavior. Now, this is a characteristic that is often associated with psychopathy. Psychopaths tend to have an uncanny ability to manipulate those around them for their own personal gain. They can be likened to puppet masters, pulling the strings and controlling the movements of others without them even realizing it. They're incredibly skilled at twisting situations and emotions to suit their needs, no matter the cost to others. This manipulative behavior can take many forms. It could be subtle, like a gentle suggestion, or blatant, like a bold-faced lie. The end goal is always the same though, to control and to gain. So if you notice someone in your life always getting their way, no matter the cost to others, remember this could be a sign. It's not always easy to spot, as they can be quite charming and convincing, but always stay vigilant. Manipulative behavior is another telltale sign of a psychopath. Sign 5. Lack of guilt. The 5th sign of a psychopath we're exploring today is a peculiar absence of guilt. Picture someone who never seems to experience regret or remorse, no matter the impact of their actions. That's a key characteristic of psychopaths. They can cause harm, either physical or emotional, without batting an eye or losing a wink of sleep. But it doesn't stop there. Not only do they not feel guilt, they hardly ever take responsibility for their actions. If something goes wrong, instead of owning up to their part, they're quick to point fingers. They blame everyone and everything else, effortlessly sidestepping any accountability. This lack of guilt isn't a result of ignorance. They understand societal norms and the concept of right and wrong, but they choose to ignore it, driven by their needs and desires. So when you encounter someone who seems impervious to guilt, tread carefully. An absence of guilt is a distinct sign of psychopathy. Sign 6, shallow affect. To put it simply, this means a limited range or depth of feelings. It's not that psychopaths don't experience emotions, but rather, their emotional spectrum tends to be noticeably shallow. Their reactions might seem oddly disconnected or out of sync with the situation at hand. Imagine someone laughing at a funeral or showing indifference during a heartwarming moment. Sounds peculiar, right? This isn't because they're ill-mannered or ignorant of social norms. Instead, it's a fundamental disconnect between their emotional responses and the world around them. They might understand on an intellectual level what they're supposed to feel, but the emotional resonance just isn't there. It's as if they're viewing life through a frosted glass, aware of the shapes and colors but unable to fully grasp the depth and vibrancy. An inability to express deep emotions can be a clear sign of a psychopath. Finally, sign 7, failure to accept responsibility. Psychopaths have a knack for sidestepping accountability. They're masters at deflecting blame, always ready to point fingers at others, while their own errors are left unacknowledged. This trait isn't about occasional avoidance. Rather, it's a persistent pattern of refusing to own up to their actions. It's about a stark absence of remorse and a consistent evasion of personal responsibility. Remember, a consistent failure to accept responsibility is a key sign of a psychopath.